Hi guys, in this video I'm going to teach you how to create an overshoot effect animation in Davinci Resolve. Now, what is an overshoot effect? An overshoot effect is simply when you animate an object from point A to point B, and instead of the object to move linearly from point A to point B, it moves from point A, moves past point B a little, and then comes back. It's kind of a stylish way of animating objects. Now, there's a way I've always created this overshoot effect in the past that have involved 3 or more keyframes, right? But I learned a new way of creating the same effect that involves just 2 keyframes. Very easy, and I'll teach you in this video. Let's go. Alright, so now we are at Davinci Resolve, and I'll show you how I used to create the same overshoot effect in the past with 3 or more keyframes, right? And then I'll show you the new way I learned of creating the same overshoot effect with just 2 keyframes. Now, usually, if I want to animate an object to give it the overshoot effect, I would let's zoom in a little. I'll go to the beginning using this ball, for example. I would create a keyframe in the position. Let's make this ball smaller a little. Yeah. Then take the object to this corner, for example. I'm about to move it from here to here. So I will move, keyframe it in the beginning, move from frame forward, then push the position a little this way. Right. Now, if we play it, you'll notice it's just like a linear motion, right? Just moves straight. Alright, so let's go to the keyframe panel. By the way, Davinci Resolve 20 has a new keyframe panel and I really like it. Makes animation very easy, right? So here's the keyframe panel. I just move the keyframe forward so that it's faster, right? So it's still kind of slow. Move it forward a little. Okay, so yeah, now the animation is faster. Now let's go back to the graph editor in the in Davinci Resolve, right? Zoom in a little so we can see the keyframes. Now this is the animation. It moves from here to here, very linear. Now, a way of spicing up your animation is to turn these keyframes from linear keyframes to what is called Bezier keyframes. And how do you do that? Is by either setting each of the keyframes to ease in or out, or setting both keyframes to ease in and ease out, right? And the way of doing it in this the keyframe panel is just by clicking on this option right here. You have the different interpolation options. You have linear, you have ease in, you have ease in and out, and then you have ease out. So we're going to choose this ease in and out so that we can, yeah, this way you can see it has a Bezier form now. So each of the keyframe is kind of curved, unlike if we Control Z, you notice here it's linear, we redo it, it's curved. Now this way, if you notice the animation, it's kind of more stylish now. Look at it. It's not just as linear as it used to be. Right. But the old way of doing it is that instead of creating just these 2 keyframes, I would create another keyframe like 2 or 3 frames after the last keyframe, so I can create that overshoot effect, right? So let's say 1, 2, 3. Then I'll create another keyframe in the position. Then this middle keyframe, I would have to overshoot it. Sometimes I will have to move the object a little bit forward, right? Yeah, so it's going to be like this. It's going to overshoot and then comes back. Yeah, because I manually move the object forward, which is making me create more than 2 keyframes in this position. This is how I used to do it, right? So 3 keyframes, it overshoots, it comes back. Check it out. Right, and we can also select these 2 last keyframes and then turn it to ease in and out too, so everything can be Bezier, right? Like this. This is it. Not bad. I've actually used this, like I use this type of animation, this keyframing for years to kind of keyframe pictures and videos, you know, into my scene as B-roll and stuff like that. Now, to finish this up, before we go to the new way I do this animation now, I'll just go to the end and let's just take the ball out in the first keyframe, take it out. So it looks like the ball is entering into the scene, right? Like this. You see that? So I've done this a lot of times in the past, but you see this kind of takes more time because you have 3 keyframes. You have to, this last one, you have to move the middle keyframe and all that, which just makes the whole thing more stressful, right? But it works. It still works, right? It still works. Still is very good. But I'll show you the new way I do it now. I involve just 2 keyframes. Let's go. Alright, so I've undone the previous animation. The ball is in the middle again. We're going to animate this ball again to come from the left to the right, but this time using just 2 keyframes and the new way of applying the overshoot animation. So I'll take it to the beginning, apply a keyframe, bring it some frame forward, right, so it's not too slow. Then create another keyframe, go to the first keyframe, or that I drag this backward in the first keyframe so it comes from here, right, and then move forward, drag this a little bit forward, so when we play it, same thing, it just moves linearly. It's not stylish. The interpolation has not been added yet. So what we'll do now to add the interpolation, the ease in and out, to select all the keyframes, we come here, ease in and out now. So if we zoom into the, okay, so play it now. Notice the movement is more stylish, unlike before when it was just linear, right? So yeah, it's more stylish. Now to add that overshoot effect, unlike the first method where I had to add a keyframe at the end, make it 3 keyframes and then manually overshoot it, I will just come to the keyframe panel right here, and you see this, the last keyframe, there's always this, since we've turned it to Bezier, there's this handle that comes with it that we can use to increase interpolation, make it slower or faster at the end and stuff like that. So this is what we're going to work with. To make it overshoot, we just have to raise this up, raise it up. Now this curve right here is going to make it overshoot, because this is a line of animation. So the fact that you are raising it up, making this curve pass this line, it means the object is going to go forward a little and come back, right? So we just move it like this to create this curve, which is going to, when we play it, we're going to see the overshoot effect. Check it out. You see that? It overshoots with just 2 keyframes. That's the difference, and it's kind of more organic because you don't have like multiple keyframes where the system has to read through those keyframes. The movement just organically overshoots and come back to this position. And the more you raise this bar, this up here, the more you pull this up, the more it overshoots. So if you have to pull this up, for example, like really pull it up, now the curve is more steep. When we play it, it's going to really overshoot. Check it out, like really overshoot, right? So this is it. This is how to make the overshoot animation with just 2 keyframes. Very easy. You don't have to add an extra keyframe or anything. I found this a while ago and I was really happy because I always use this in my editing. Like I always like when I'm bringing a picture into a scene, I always like to make it overshoot, just to give you that very stylish and cinematic effect, something like that. Well, the thing is, if you use other softwares, like other video editing softwares like Premiere Pro and After Effects, you might not be able to do this with just 2 keyframes. You might have to use the old method of using 3 or more keyframes and manually creating that overshoot, right? Because I tried to do this in Premiere Pro and After Effects and I couldn't. Honestly, I don't know how it's done over there. I've tried it and I've been using these softwares for years, but I just couldn't do it. Turns out I can only do it in Davinci Resolve. Alright, so let's do something similar in After Effects, right? The same overshoot animation in After Effects. Go to the last frame, create a keyframe in the position, drag it to the beginning, move some frame forward, then drag the object forward, hold shift so that it moves straight forward. Yeah, then we play it now. You can see the animation. It's just very linear, right? Very linear. Now all we can do is go to this, click on this, which is a graph editor, similar to the keyframe editor in Resolve. Now here we'll select all the keyframes, right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease. It's the same thing as saying ease in and out, right? Because here we have ease in, we have ease out option. But easy ease is going to ease both keyframes, right? Easy ease. Now you have it looking like this. It's very different from the Resolve that it kind of goes up and down, where you can apply the overshoot, right? But this kind of goes down like this. And I don't know if it's me or there's another way of doing it, but I can't just get it to overshoot. Honestly, I tried. I tried. I can't just really get this to have that overshoot, effect without adding a 3rd keyframe. So I don't know if there's a better way of doing it here in After Effects. If you're watching this video, you know a better way of creating the overshoot effect with 2 keyframes and kind of bending the interpolation, the Bezier, to make sure it's overshoot without adding a 3rd keyframe. Because every time I've done it in After Effects in the past, I've always had a 3rd keyframe. But if you have a way of creating this overshoot effect, make it overshoot in After Effects with just 2 keyframes, then please drop it down in the comments. I really want to know because we are all learning. But I think you can only do this in Resolve, right now you can only do this overshoot, 2 keyframe overshoot effects in Resolve, right? We'll go back to Resolve just a bit. Yeah, so we are back to Resolve, and you can see that, you know, we have the overshoot effect still there. You know, we can still change the how much you want to shoot, to overshoot, and set it, play it, very easy, right? This is kind of too much, so let's take this down a little. Yeah, and yeah, see that, very easy, 2 keyframes. But if we switch to After Effects or Premiere Pro, you can't do that. All right, so if you know how to do it in Premiere Pro and After Effects, please drop it down in the comments. But I just wanted to show you guys how to do this in Resolve, which is very easy. You know, you can do it just 2 keyframes, drag the handle, and you are there, right? And using this in your videos is also going to make your videos very stylish. Instead of just having your B-roll sliding just like that, you have it come in and overshoot. Very stylish, makes your edit, you know, more exciting to watch and stuff like that. Well, if you enjoyed this tutorial, follow me for more content. I'm going to be posting more content on how to edit and, you know, videography, editing, and other stuff. Yeah, so follow me for more, and I'll see you in my next video.